We can't talk about the Mormons?
No.
Okay. We won't talk about the Mormons. How about the Quakers?
How about Frontier Magazine?
Yeah.
Kick us off. Let's go.
All right. Welcome back to Good Taste Podcast. I'm Chris Bedford. I'm here with Daniel Turner.
Hello again.
And we're not going to talk about the Mormons.
No, we're not
going to. But we could talk about the Quakers.
Yes. We'll talk other religions, but congratulations.
Thank you.
For those who don't know, Mr. Bedford you're the editor-in-chief of this puppy, aren't you?
I gave it to Peter Giedel because he deserves it. I'm the editor-in-chief of Blaze Media, but okay. I gave him, he does so much work on this magazine. So now I'm executive editor.
Executive editor. It is magnificent to hold in hand a physical paper copy of a magazine. I love the fact that it is stylized, as your readers, as the audience can see. It is stylized like a great magazine of the 1970s. Like,
that's what we're shooting
especially
for.
This back, like you see this on your grandmother's coffee table.
Yeah.
It's just beautifully done.
And we're trying, speaking of the 70s,
shot.
we're trying to show Richard Nixon in this as people in the 70s felt like he was.
Yeah.
As literally the most popularly elected president in history. 49 states. He only lost Massachusetts. And we have opening cover is Nixon with his daughter. It's just the man that people knew. Nixon politicking with talking to kids and hanging out in a powder blue suit, just being a man.
Yeah.
But we have a great piece in there on how the youth have embraced Nixon. But that's actually, we're not here to talk about that. What are we here to talk about?
No, but it's still a great point. And there are a number of parallels of orchestrating the takedown of a president. We saw that recently with Biden. We clearly saw that with the Russia hoax. We saw that with Watergate. Someone recently got in controversial trouble because they said, was it Senator Mike Lee? It was someone, I forget who it was. Someone of prominence. Sorry, Senator, if it wasn't you. Someone of prominence said this makes Watergate pale in comparison to what they did, and they were like, "How dare you demean or dismiss Watergate? That was
Watergate
a serious offense." And you realize the Russia hoax is the exact same thing, an orchestrated, government planned, high top down effort to take down a president. The only difference was that Trump didn't fall for it.
There's a couple things that I read about it in the piece, but there's changes in the media that have allowed for this to happen. I mean, Roger Ailes was Nixon's image consultant.
Yeah.
And Nixon would pound the table and say, we need to get our own business roundtable. We need our own press. We need our own universities. And now you've got the conservative press. You've got Roger Ailes left and started Fox News. You can draw a direct line right back to Watergate. James Rosen, a great reporter who was a Fox guy, was telling me about that aspect. And you've got people like Tucker who were willing to go out there and say, hold on a second, what's going on? And the gatekeepers have started to go away. People have realized that Ben Bradley was really not sure of the story and kind of hated Nixon. He was a total snob. They've realized that the actual Watergate reporters themselves, Woodward in particular, was, how did he know Deep Throat? Oh, his work as in a naval intelligence?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Like this young cub reporter who comes straight from naval intelligence and is friends with the deputy director of the FBI suddenly breaks open this case. It takes down the most popular president in American history.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Odd coincidence.
And Nixon didn't have people also didn't realize like this sort of thing could happen. Now now the young people look at it like Russiagate and they say, oh yeah, they lie.
Yeah.
We know what the deep state is. We know what lawfare is now. We had no idea what lawfare was. You've got Howard Dean, the guy who turned on Richard Nixon, agreeing with Jeff Shepard, who was on his legal team, who I interviewed for this, that the smoking gun wasn't a smoking gun at all. They weren't talking about the same case. It was different. Nixon just couldn't remember. Dean remembered. And he didn't want to help out Nixon at that time because he was trying to save his own butt and his own corruption. You've got all these different aspects that have come down and a loyal base that's more activated and more entrenched and a small group of Republicans in the House and the Senate who will back this president no matter what.
Yeah.
If he does actually shoot someone on Fifth Avenue, they'll be like, I'm not changing my vote. And Nixon didn't have that. When he lost the establishment, which he had courted for years, vice president, congressman, senator, he lost and he had to leave. And he was being honorable about it. Trump could have very easily gone the way of Richard Nixon had he had a different atmosphere. And
it's a great point.
It's great to see him back, and it's great to give the old man a shot on the arm, because when you combine all that and look back, why was this guy so popular? Oh, because he was brilliant. He was a statesman. He thought there was a speechwriter who worked for him, Ford, Reagan, and Clinton, who said that the Nixon was the only president he ever worked for who talked in terms of decades. Everyone else is like, what's the crisis? What do we do right now? How do we fix this? How do we do? Well, let's get the oil price down. Let's figure that out. Nixon was always thinking in terms of decades past and decades in the future. So people are interested in that. And the Nixon Foundation's done great work on it, like putting out these awesome, just total Zoomer, like techno, Nixon being cool at his zenith memes, or not memes, reels, that are getting literally millions of views.
Yeah.
This is Nixon summer, Turner. Nixon summer.
I love it. And you look at some of the most signature, and we're going to have a cocktail while we do this also. Let's do the cocktail first so I have something to drink.
Yeah, and you want me to tell you about this cocktail?
Please. And by the way, that is a great that is a great little is it a little big for a flask, right? But you could hide that in a coat pocket.
Sarah calls it the family flask.
The family flask.
It's
that
for
makes
like
sense.
events.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
very
she
nice.
got it for me for Father's Day,
Oh, very good.
I think.
And
my birthday.
And this is fancy orange.
Maybe it was Christmas.
This is like the real stuff where they actually like squeeze oranges.
Yeah, and we are in need of a screwdriver because, well, this is going to come out a little later in the week. We are on the very end of July 4th weekend, 250th.
Oh, boy.
Which beat the heck out of a lot
boy.
of good patriotic husbands and fathers and men and who celebrated in the heat, in that heat stroke. And then I'll let you decide your orange juice levels.
Yeah.
And then I had Pop's Day, which is like, we didn't have time to celebrate Father's Day on Father's Day, so we had Pop's Day. And when I'm not busy working around the house, cleaning stuff, putting things, fixing toys, and I have nothing to do but like drink Greyhounds.
Yeah.
It turns out I'm overserved.
Yeah.
So,
and I like Greyhounds. We could have done that as well because I like the sour.
Yeah, I almost thought about doing that. And then Monday was the World Cup loss. So it was just back to back to back. And what is a very dangerous weapon, but one you can use when needed? A cure for a 3-day hangover?
Is a screwdriver.
It's a screwdriver.
Yeah. Orange juice is good for you, right? You need the vitamin C.
Yep.
And so that's very good. And vodka is basically like water.
Yeah. Water, just like water of life.
Actually, that's what's makes it so nice is the orange juice is so good. You didn't even taste vodka. And
that's one of the things that we talk
about. This is like 2/3 vodka. I don't even taste it.
You're making, and it's a Maryland vodka, Scotty's vodka, great stuff. Great. Don't buy Tito's. They're bad people. No. Truly, deeply bad people.
No Tito's. I boycotted Tito's a while ago when they started getting political, and I was like, I don't care if you're made in Texas. Screw you guys. I'm not buying you anymore.
Exactly. I'm like, give me the Russian stuff. We don't dabble in world politics.
I have my long list of all the things that I boycott.
I'm Target and Tito's.
Products and Tito's was one. The other thing about Nixon, which I wanted to throw out there, just because it's always is relevant, but we'll get into orchestrating takedowns. Californian. And I always think of Nixon and I think of Reagan and I think of so many Republican statesmen and how far that state has fallen as it used to be, not just, and we can say this as proud East Coasters, right? We always have a certain disdain for California, right? Like the left coast.
And what nice weather.
Exactly. All the women are beautiful and you have beaches and we've always had a certain,
get out of here.
But there's also a lot of envy because California is or should be the most perfect state in the nation. It has everything.
It's stunning physical beauty.
It has all of our food. It was the second largest oil producer after Texas for years. And it gave us people like Nixon and Reagan and to see what California has become, I mean, that alone should make every Californian unelectable on a national level.
You know what broke it?
To be
Reagan's immigration.
Yeah. To
the
a certain
amnesty.
extent.
I don't think the California's Republican power slipped so dramatically after that.
After that. And what's funny is that the guy they lionize, who was the agriculture, Cesar Chavez, hated illegal immigrants.
Super.
And yet they name everything Cesar Chavez Highway, although wasn't he just recently accused of something? He was Me Too'd.
He was Me Too'd with the ladies.
They started
Turned out he was pushing himself rather hard on some of the young lady volunteers.
But they used to hang him up as like this example of like he is a Latino, and it's like actually he's deeply he's of Latino origin, thoroughly American, and hated illegal immigration and like violently like attacked illegal immigrants to get the hell out of the country because he was fighting for poorer farm workers. And now it's remarkable to see how California has fallen.
It's too bad.
It's
a pretty state.
It will rebound, right? Doesn't states come and go?
Probably not under this form of government.
That's not under these current elected leaders. But
No.
the other thing about Nixon talking about an orchestrated takedown is what was in the news is our friend Graham Platner, which is an orchestrated takedown. And even on our group thread, you pointed out, and then people were like, well, yeah, of course. But I was like, I don't think you really understood, of course. You pointed out, like, this is not us. This is dem on dem.
People saying, oh,
violence.
you can't take him down for a week until Monday when the deadline passes. It's like, that's really not up to any Republican or conservative.
This is the same thing they did with Biden, where they look at the poll numbers and now we have to orchestrate a reason. Now his health is a concern. It's like, no, the poll numbers are a concern. Graham Platner, they stood by him. We can talk about the tattoo.
I wish there was, if only there had been a sign that this was like not a cool dude, that he wasn't on the level.
I think the most disturbing of the allegations, not even which was, I actually laughed when he was like, I would rape a guy who broke into my house, but not in a gay way, just in a dominant way, like offensive, dumb. I
thought that was funny.
I actually kind of chuckled.
He had a lot of Marine stuff.
Exactly.
He had a tasteless World War II tattoo. He talked about, some private time in the potty. In the porta potty in 100-degree heat.
Which, any guy who was deployed, they'll tell you the exact same thing.
He was kind of just a Marine.
Exactly. What I found most disturbing was the active profile on the sex app, which attracts like underage kids. That should have been the disqualifier, right? Like if you have an active profile on, this isn't MySpace or Facebook. Like this is an app for, I don't remember the name of it, for people who are looking to hook up, but it attracts mostly underage. And yet they still stood by him. Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Tim Walz went out.
They loved him.
Tim Walz wouldn't surprise me if he's on the app for the different reasons or different profile. But they still stood by this guy. And when he was only ready to be thrown overboard is when the poll numbers came out. After months and months of all of this stuff trickling down. And Mainers, and we know Maine well. I used to spend all my childhood summers in Maine at my uncle's farm. Mainers were finally like, all right, this guy is a disaster. And
it's a bit much.
His polls started to sink. And Susan Collins was suddenly up by 6. And it's like, now we got to get rid of the guy.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to fix it. It reminds me of the Norm Macdonald joke. Where he's talking to Jerry Seinfeld. He says, the Cosby thing, it's not the hypocrisy that bugs me. It's at least not the worst part. And he's like, well, really, what do you mean? He goes, I think it's the rape.
And Seinfeld pauses for a second and then bursts out laughing.
Yeah, I think it was the rape.
That's bad, right? That we can all agree that that's bad. And you shouldn't allow that in your political candidates. And it's just remarkable.
You have to wait until you're a senator before you can be rapey.
You
can't rape as a candidate.
Ask any Kennedy. You see the interview that she did, the one of the second accuser. I forget who it was.
Lindsay Fifield?
Lindsay, whatever her name was.
She was a Republican, former Republican.
No,
I don't know what she is right now.
She was the first one. The second one, the one that was the straw that broke the camel's, that broke Platner's back.
Yeah.
And she said she was waiting on coming out because she likes his politics and she wanted to win. And you say, wow, that's weird. Like if you genuinely think you were raped and you're holding on to this because you care about the party, that's
some hardcore team player.
That's odd, right? Like that's not just like a party loyalist. That's flipping sick.
Yeah.
And that's where I think all these people are. I was texting you on the drive-in. No, I wasn't texting and driving. I was mentioning to you on voice chat, on speakerphone on the drive-in. Don't text and drive. That as far as I'm concerned, the next time anyone who is nominated for an office that has to sit before a committee in the Senate and you have Senator Warren and she's wearing her, lesbian power suit and she's wagging her finger because of moral injustice of Donald Trump. The answer is, I'm sorry, Senator, you stood behind Graham Platner. I refuse to answer your question. Like Elizabeth Warren has no moral credibility and she is going to scream about economic injustice and violence against Native American, whatever her cause is. Bernie Sanders, if you dare ask me a question to try to impugn my character, how the hell how does any Republican ever look at these senators
because that's
before?
The thing. It's
Never
not the
again.
rape that changed their minds.
No.
Because Lindsay had accused him of very similar stuff herself. And
she was dismissed because she's a Republican.
And it was pretty brutal, their treatment of her. And then they said, well, and you can even see it on MS Now and other things, commentators saying, well, she wasn't credible, but this person is.
I'm drinking too fast.
And, well, that's okay. It's easy with vodka.
Yeah.
The only way to tell how much vodka you've drank is how the bottle goes down. That's it. Just be careful with it. It's not like whiskey where you can feel it.
You can't feel it. Plus, I'm angry now because I'm thinking of Elizabeth Warren, and I want to make the eye contact with her. Like, you stood by Graham Platner. You never get to question. You know the way she raked over the Coles Warsh, right, when he was up for Fed chair? Anger and disdain and apoplectic and lecturing. You stood by Graham Platner. You never get to question anyone again. You stood by Graham Platner.
And the only
these
reason
are shameful freaking
the polls.
These are shameful. Oh yeah, I can't curse. We're trying not to curse on this podcast. These are bad people. These are bad.
I'm beginning to think they're bad people.
They are bad people. And I am sick and tired of pretending we all want the same things. They just come about it from a different direction.
But you ask, what's different about this? All of the scandals that have come out over and over again have come out.
Break.
The only thing that's changed in all these calculations is the polls.
The polls.
And what's silly about it, even, is kind of in an age of Trump where you should just never back down, like ever.
Yeah.
Even when you seem like you are behind in the polls.
Never back down.
They backed down. Is there any idea that they're going to put up some candidate by July 27th who's going to then win?
Yeah.
Was that their plan? I don't know, kind of just double down on Graham Platner. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised not just attacking this accuser. It's like she's mentally unwell.
That's a good point. It's a fair point.
They're breaking.
You've invested everything in this. Just keep going.
Why not? I mean, it's not like you're going to get out of it.
Yeah. And you would, if you're looking at this and I'm taking morality out of the question. I apologize. This is a vulgar comment. You would understand this level of debauchery if you were trying to knock off Mike Lee, Ted Cruz, right? Like someone like a big. This is Susan Collins. She votes with you guys like 45% of the time, right? She is the most moderate. Maybe Murkowski beats her. She is the most weak Republican, and this is who you're like laying out all the stops. Like, you're not knocking off a big dog. You're knocking off basically a Democrat.
An appropriator.
It's remarkable.
But it's the left, though, because the left is who hates the appropriator as much as the right does.
Yeah.
They don't want that. They want someone who's out there who's just going to fight nonstop, and she is not going to. I don't know who. That's the thing about Collins. Like, I look at this and I think I actually thought she was in trouble for a while.
She'll win by 7 or 8. She'll win comfortably.
I think she will. But I was thinking, who is her energized base other than Mitch McConnell, who is in the hospital and his wife has fled to China?
Yeah.
Seems
that's
the story now.
Something's odd. Something's weird in Kentucky.
His wife has fled to China and he's unconscious. I don't know. We don't actually quite know his state.
Something's odd in Kentucky.
Hope he's well. But I also want to know why his wife went to China. Anyways, who are those people who are out there? It's not like someone says, listen, I don't know what to do. I'm torn. This guy seems like he's got some good ideas about the economy. And by the way, Maine, beautiful vacation area, known for like Kenny Bunkport and its richest people. It is one of the poorest states in the
very
Union.
poor state.
I've driven past houses in central and northern Maine where the roof is a tarp.
Yeah.
And you get far enough north, you start to see Confederate flags again. It's a strange thing, considering that Maine sent many of the heroes of the Union side, but it's very rural, very poor. And so populism can catch on, and it's not like people are going to say, well, at least Susan Collins is pro-life, so I'll back her. Or at least she's pro-traditional marriage or this, that, so I'll back her. She's not. So what are Republicans thinking? They're like, well, she voted for the big, beautiful bill. She every year she votes to fund the Pentagon.
Yeah.
How does that motivate a voter?
Exactly.
It motivates DC. So I was looking at her thinking, who's knocking on doors for you?
But they like her. And the thing about Maine, even though it's actually it's not a small state in terms of geography, but it is in terms of population, they all kind of know each other. Like, it is not, it's not a very big state in terms, it's kind of like Alaska in that sense. You go to Alaska and you're like, do you know Chris Bedford? Like, oh yeah, well, like he went to school with my sister's cousin, and they all kind of know each other there. And in Maine, they know each other and they see her as one of their own. That was Platner's appeal, right? He's one of us. He's messed in the head. He fought in the war that they sent him to, which he volunteered for.
Turns out that was not true.
It turns out that was not true, but it was a good story at first, right? They know each other. But the thing about Maine, though, the poverty that you just said, it does take me back. I have one uncle who now obviously inspired me enough that I started my own farm, but I stayed in like pretty George Washington's Virginia. I didn't go to rural Maine, but my one uncle growing up in Queens fled to Maine in the early 60s and became a Maine farmer. And my mom and dad used to send all the kids there for the summer for like 4 weeks.
Just to work?
To work.
That's awesome.
And get stuff done. And we loved it as kids. And, that's where I first started like learning how to bale hay and drive a tractor, et cetera, as a little kid. But I remember like they were okay as a family. He had like a real job as well, my Uncle Tony. But like their neighbors were poor.
Yeah.
And coming from Queens.
I've seen people driving their tractors to get cigarettes.
Even poor people in Queens like have a house, and they have like air conditioning and they don't have a nicer house, but that was kind of the nice thing of growing up in the city was poor and rich kind of intermingle.
A lot of places don't have AC in Maine, but you really don't need it quite as bad. But although the black flies are tough.
You would go to Maine and you would see like legit like poverty. And it was fascinating even as a kid thinking like, why don't these people like have food? Like what do you mean this is what we're eating? And then you realize like that's just the way that is their lifestyle.
I've known some people because you think of it as New England. And the parts that you can drive to right from Massachusetts very easily, extremely wealthy, extremely beautiful, but it's a lot of woods. A lot of woods goes back there. And I knew some folks who they would eat differently if they didn't get a moose tag that year. If they the meat that they would have to. Yeah. I mean, a moose can feed a lot of people. You grind it up, you got burger meat and everything else. So it's and I think I'm surprised that Susan Collins is the senator.
And we talked about this a couple podcasts ago, the guys who have come from Europe and seen America on their World Cup tour. People who go to Maine, normally they go to Arcadia, which is beautiful, right? They go to Algonquin, which is so quaint, or Kennebunkport, Walker Point, right? Magnificent. They get the probably $25 lobster roll, but you don't really go beyond that. And that's kind of what I think we're missing as a whole, as a country, is you don't go beyond.
You should.
You should.
The other areas, I mean,
drive around.
Bar Harbor,
yeah,
very rich, very nice, very far.
Yeah.
Deer Island, which featured prominently in this Ken Burns Civil War. One of the guys who seemed to be at every battle came from Deer Island. Now a beautiful place, but good skiing, good place to visit. I got some friends who live there. I love to visit. We should go up to Maine.
I'd love to go to Maine. Yeah, I mean, it is beautiful.
Probably not going to be able to knock doors for Graham Platner, though, unless we book
that will be the excuse to go, is just do some journalism on that. But the challenge about states like Maine is that how do you, it'd almost be like a fascinating like political science experiment. How do you revive the state? If you become governor of Maine, what do? You're not, I mean, data centers, which actually is probably not a worse idea because you've got a ton of water. Energy is a bit of a challenge, but you do have a ton of water. But who's moving to Maine, right?
They should bring back mining.
Mining would, but
I mean, it's on timber, a belt of incredible.
The Greens killed a lot of Maine's timber industry, of course. How do you revive that? Like, even if you build an Amazon fulfillment center, who are you delivering to? There's no one there.
And right? It's tough. I know some great people who moved back to Maine, and they're a part of that whole movement to try to get Maine's sons and daughters to stop leaving.
Yeah.
And they were there for a couple of years, and they toughed it out, and it was difficult to get work. It was hard, and they're actually, I'm happy to see them again, but they just moved back to DC.
Yeah.
9 months of pretty tough weather.
Tough.
Extremely difficult to get a job, even though the housing costs are way down. And it's a tough go.
Yeah. I spend a lot of time in Alaska. I readily admit, or openly admit, I have a good friendship with the governor. He's great. He's at the end of his 8 years, but Alaska as a state is dying because your average 18-year-old, there's only one university. Otherwise, you go to college in the lower 48 and you just never come back. And the only thing that keeps the state afloat, the biggest thing that keeps the state afloat is obviously oil and gas and cruise ships, right? And both of them are constant under attack from the environmental left. Fishing is really big and a lot of that stuff, but that doesn't sustain the state's economy. Huge parts of the economy.
You can buy
to sustain the state
9 months of alcohol and drugs and women with that fishing paycheck.
Well,
that's where it seems to go back into that economy too.
A lot of young people, the few young people who do stick around, is they will load luggage on cruise ships in high cruise ship season, and then they get enough from their permanent fund. Maine has that weird, Alaska has that weird socialist system where the
They pay
oil
you
and
to live
gas
there.
revenue, which I think is terrible. I think it's doing tremendous damage to the state. But even Republicans in the state are like, we need to increase the permanent fund dividend. This is our right. Once you tell people that they deserve free money, they always need more of it. But you meet 25-year-olds who they will load baggage on cruise ships for a couple of weeks in the high season and then take their permanent fund, and that's it. And they'll just sit and smoke weed the rest of the year. And that's not a healthy lifestyle. And that is the state. And the state needs desperate injection of economy and the governor has been trying, and he has just stopped. He stopped by his own Lisa Murkowski. He stopped by Democrats, stopped by green groups. And so Maine, Alaska, very similar in that sense. It would be, being a governor would be so much more fun than being a senator, but boy, it would be very hard to keep your state afloat, or to inherit a state like New York or Massachusetts.
Maine's got that Governor Susan Mills,
the great Maura Healey in Massachusetts.
Oh my gosh!
And the state has everything at its fingertips, and she's just destroying it.
Yeah.
Very sad.
I'm looking. They've got this insane view of this country and what they're supposed to be doing here.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me. I wrote this list down or typed it up of some of the things that the president's report just came out on July 4th on the Smithsonian and the Museum of American History, which is where you're supposed to celebrate America. I admit I've not been since 2004.
I haven't been in a while,
and I thought it was great.
Yeah,
there was like the boats from Valley Forge. I remember seeing a lot of cool military history. I saw the ruby slippers, C-3PO,
the original
like
flag,
boomer stuff.
Yeah, the original flag from Fort McHenry.
These were awesome when I was like 17 or 18. But now if you go in there, the president of the exhibit of the museum, Anthea Hartig, who is, exactly who you'd imagine, like pasty white woman with straight gray hair. And she thinks that it's the job of the National Museum of American History to get out of the America First mentality.
There you go.
To put down America, that's his job. So some of the exhibits they were coming in, you could see a BDSM crotch harness, like a vintage one, antique.
Oh, it's a vintage one.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's yeah.
And an old chest binder from trans non-binary persons, like another vintage antique. And you can see a 1960s or 70s diary, and it says, if you open it up, it says "My Diary," and it's like this really cute thing about a 6-year-old girl praying every night that her penis will grow.
These people are so sexually depraved. Everything is about sex.
The Dixie Chicks cover where they're naked is on display, and it reminds me. It's like when my son was 5, he got called into kindergarten. They were supposed to be like, wear a hoodie for school spirit day, and then they used the opportunity to teach the kids about Trayvon Martin, who is
of course they did.
Who's like 5 years old.
Yeah,
he's also like, this is not an American Emmett Till moment. This lives like bigger in your stupid self-obsessed brain than it actually does in history's pages. And this kind of reminds me of the Dixie Chicks as like a cover. That versus Toby Keith was a pop culture feud from the early 2000s, not a history defining moment.
Yeah.
They've got Mickey Mouse is said he has vestiges of long-standing traditions of blackface minstrelsy. A ukulele is a product of U.S. imperialism. Wild West shows turned the subjugation of indigenous people into theater. Christopher Columbus is a murderer and a slaver and a thief, which, by the way, like the murderer and the rapist and all this stuff comes from a guy who wanted his job, was never corroborated, and no one believed it.
This is all currently at the museum?
Yes. Christian pilgrims are colonizers. Thanksgiving is a national day of mourning.
How does this woman still have a job?
Rational thinking and hard work are traits of white supremacy culture.
White supremacy, as is punctuality. I've heard that before.
Benjamin Franklin has like a fifth of his exhibit is devoted to slaves.
Yeah.
And Benjamin Franklin did have slaves, and he advertised for them in his newspaper initially. He became a staunch abolitionist, headed the Philadelphia Abolitionist Society, and in his will, he wrote his daughter can't even have any money unless she relinquishes ownership of humans. Like, a late in life thing, but he wasn't a plantation owner. He wasn't he had some household slaves. Not great.
Not great. No, we can all agree.
Is that 1/5 of Benjamin Franklin's contributions to American history? I don't actually think that is. It's so weird. And they claim that he may have conducted electric shock experiments on them.
He may have.
Zero.
You just throw a crap like that out
Zero
there. Yeah, you just say it. Yeah.
Zero.
That's insanity. That has to come on, Mr. President. We need to talk to some folks at the White House.
Well, he's not in charge. They've got an independent committee. It's so
he's in charge now.
They have the vice president sits on it.
I will make myself in charge of this stuff.
They need to do something.
I'm just tired of this crap.
And I read this interview with her where there's 3 things that we're celebrating this 250th.
Oh boy,
the 3 major impacts of American life: 250 years since the founding. 25 years since 9/11, which we all know changed this country dramatically for the worse, and 5 years since January 6th.
Really? She puts them all together?
All those together?
She must be a hoot at parties.
She must be loved.
Oh, my gosh.
I bet she's very popular in Middleburg.
Could you imagine
Georgetown.
how much vegan food you have to prepare if she comes for dinner? It's like, oh, actually, I'm lactose. I know you're lactose, and you're dairy-free, and you're vegan, and you're no gluten, and here's a freaking ice cube, lady. Just suck on the ice cube.
Go stand outside.
Oh, what a miserable human being. Yeah, we have to take over. How sad for the thousands of Americans, tens of thousands of Americans who were here the last couple days, and you took your kids to this museum after seeing the mall and the Ferris wheel and all the state exhibits, and then you take them in there and you see this crap.
That is a disappointing vacation.
What? How awful of that to like this. This is the. I hate these, but I hate the artistic left as a whole, and it's why they have co-opted that whole industry, right? Art, Hollywood. The whole liberal arts is very important for the left to co-opt. And
they're doing too much, though. Like, this is so obvious. It's so stupid.
It's boring, actually.
It's very boring. It's like Madonna mocking the Catholic Church. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
You haven't had a hit in a very long time. Yeah. And no one cares anymore. Like, that was edgy in 1981. It's really weird now.
It's kind of boring now.
Super boring. They used to be better at it, though. Like, obviously, when I was growing up in school, we probably spent way too much time on the rainforest. For like a Massachusetts school system, like why are we spending 2 months every year on
Great
the
South
Amazon
Park episode
when
they go to the rainforest and awful. They hate it? Yeah,
it's awful. But nowadays it's so over the top and so silly. It's way beyond just Captain Planet propaganda. It's very, very silly stuff.
I think about this now. I guess this is a couple of screwdrivers in. Maybe the 5 shots of vodka in that are kicking in. I think about that all the time.
You need to do the hobo mix, 50-50.
When I see the commercials for HIV drugs, I always think of my childhood as opposed to what the commercial says, because my childhood, we were indoctrinated with the belief that anyone can get AIDS. And we were petrified as kids.
We're getting into AIDS truth.
Anyone can get it. And you were afraid all the time. Like
get it on the subway.
Yes. And it doesn't matter who you are or your age.
Kids' Halloween candy.
But now when you look at HIV PrEP drugs, it's like, oh, well, that's who gets AIDS. It's very clear that they are marketing one demographic, and we'll leave it up to the imagination of the listener. Like, the money behind corporate AIDS drugs is like, we know who's getting AIDS these days.
Well, because it takes intravenous drug use.
And it cracks me up. I'm like, what? This is so... I'm waiting for someone like my mom to be on one of those commercials to be like, I take my PrEP drug because we can all get it. Surprisingly, 80-year-old women are not in their demographic, but we were told that as children. Everyone's getting it. So it's kind of the same thing that you were just saying of what we were told as kids with the rainforest as opposed to what's actually really happening.
We spent a lot of time on how butterflies come from caterpillars and how frogs start as minnows. A lot of stuff you need to know.
Yes, important stuff. Important stuff. What was nice about this weekend also is how thoroughly American it was. The acts, the performances,
everything except for the midnight and
it was late, and you can't do anything about the weather.
And the 250th State Fair was so stupidly and disastrously planned. There was zero shelter, zero air conditioning, zero ability to cool down. I think before they closed it for an emergency, when my kids were there. They had over 80 hospitalizations. A couple of people were still on life support as of July 4th. And there are precautions you can take against that, like shelter, shade.
I'm going to give them some slack because there were 2 competing organizations. There was America 250.
Oh, yeah. No one has any ownership over this.
There was
Project Orca.
And 250. There was America 250 and Freedom 250. America 250 was planned by Biden-Harris. And then when Trump was inaugurated, they looked at this and they're like, this is a monstrous pile of crap. So we are going to shrink it to this and push you aside, and we're going to create our own thing called Freedom 250.
I think that's what I went to with the state fair and the stage.
So the state fair, so you have to look at the context of what
Which
would
one
have
was that?
happened. That was Freedom 250.
Okay, I went there. I was Michael Knowles debating the little girl.
Meaning the 5-year plan that Biden and Harris put in place. None of that was planned. None of the state fair, none of the fireworks, all the cool stuff, none of the flyovers. All of that was Freedom 250. What would have happened? What would have happened if America 250 were the only game in town and Kamala Harris were President Harris? Could you imagine the speech she would have given?
Oh, what about I know, you're right.
That's
not as bad as Kamala.
the problem.
But when I went down and I saw the stage, there was
they had a year and 3 months to plan it. I give them some slack that they did as best as they could in a year and 3 months, and they had to raise several $100 million and try to find the money to do it.
Did you go down to it? I will give them
some. I did, and it was hot, and it was
pretty bad.
It needed better signage. It needed some water stations.
Did you find the entrance?
No. It was not.
No one found that entrance.
But you know what? I'll give them a lot of credit because they pulled it together very quickly. And all I could think of is imagine if these people had taken over. Imagine if Tim Waltz, and I think I texted you this, went to the opening of the Teddy Roosevelt library, right? Kamala wouldn't have gone because that's way too.
Remember they took a statue away from the Native Public Library.
They would have sent Tim Waltz instead, and prancing Vice President Waltz would have come out and he would have brought up Little Chicken Feather, who was the great-great-granddaughter of great chief, and she would have read all the grievances about Teddy Roosevelt and all the things that he did to her people, and then we would have burned some incense, and we would have browbeat ourselves about what a horrible person he was, and then they would have made him into Al Gore and said, but at least he cared about because climate change, and as we stand here, we remember Teddy Roosevelt cared deeply about the environment, and we must recycle, and that would have been, and Trump showed up, and it was like conquest, greatness, San Juan Hill.
That was awesome. His speech, way too late, lost a 10-year-old voter, strained at the 10-year-old parent voter.
Amazing. It
was a good speech.
It was the most alpha 4 days in recent American history.
There'd been more competent planning around the state fair.
That's unfortunate. But it was awesome. It was thoroughly proud American. And
I guess you had to have security.
There was none of this constant. We know Jefferson had slaves, and we know slavery is wrong. We have a lot of bad stuff on the natives. There's no doubt about it. But we don't have to
But they did a lot of bad stuff, too.
We don't have to spend the rest of our lives. Yeah, you know,
you go to Massachusetts, there's a lot of graves killed by Indians. And forget about when you go further west. It'll say it, Western Mass, killed by Indians, killed by Indians, killed by Indians.
When they took away the Laura Ingalls Prize and they made them change the name because Laura Ingalls Wilder, her comments, remember Little House on the Prairie, because her commentary of Native Americans was considered offensive. You wanted to say, yeah, but don't forget, Laura Ingalls Wilder was 7 years old when the Indians waited for Pa to be gone and they broke into the house and kind of locked them all in the room and stole all of their goods and had a knife to Ma's throat. Laura Ingalls Wilder didn't have a great idea of Indians. She's got some reason why she doesn't have great ideas.
We were mean to each other.
She was traumatized multiple times by Indians. We could debate this till we're blue in the face, but America 250, there was none of that. It was just, we are awesome. This is great. Right. And I loved it. Yes, 250 on the mall, better planning. I kind of wish I was in charge of... You couldn't plan
for the heat.
I wish I was in charge of everything. And one thing we will say, which we told some White House folks, this is for the camera, they do need a music thing. They need a week-long music festival. You can do jazz. Jazz is terrible.
Jazz is
it's
awful.
Thoroughly American. You can do jazz, but you need to do... There are so many great American composers. You know, they're between Gershwin, between Copland. You need a whole Rhapsody in Blue concert. You need the National Symphony Orchestra. You need to do
I'd like to see Porgy and Bess return to DC.
You need to see Porgy. There is some great American music that we should bring out. We should do a country night. Bring some of the great country performers and be like, this is what is thoroughly American. Obviously, I'm always partial to classical. I'll always think of Beethoven, but he's German. He can stay in Germany. But we have some great American performers and some great American music. There should be a musical component that I'm waiting to happen. But we just started, so maybe we can get that in the works.
Maybe it's going to happen. A year and 3 months to plan the state fair tents. Maybe any moment now.
I think we're running out of time, and I'm running out of vodka. Yeah.
Are you feeling better?
I do. I'm a little less angry. But I get worked up, I get worked up on a lot of these political things.
You're very excited. It's Italian in you.
It's the Italian in me, and it's just I feel like, and it's one of the things I love about you as a friend. I feel like a lot of moral issues are just so blatantly black and white, and I'm tired of pretending to people who see the black and try to tell us it's green, and having to debate them and be like, well, actually, you just get frustrated after a while. Like the Graham Platner thing is black and white. Abortion is black and white. A lot of these things are just so clear, and we all know they're clear, but it's biblical, right? I mean, like the devil is the prince of lies for a reason. And
you seem
this
calmer.
Is who we're dealing with. But you do just get very frustrated that you have to play these games.
It's exhausting. And it makes me, I mean, this was a good July 4th. We did a clam bake. You didn't come.
I did not. I'm sorry.
You didn't come.
I know.
It's fine. You had better things to do.
I'm sorry. The food looks
good. Didn't do a clam bake. It was a boil. Turns out it was really good. There's not a lot of boil fans, though.
Yeah.
Everyone likes to take pictures of it, but the people who want to sit there over a table for 50 minutes putting in the work, yeah. It was like me, Keith, a couple guys.
We can do our own next time. Can we do one here? It would stink up the studio pretty damn bad for days.
It was the first one I've ever been to that was done in the air conditioning. I did it inside because it was
105 degrees.
Too hot to go out. Like I wasn't, and you don't want to put seafood out in 110 degrees. Yeah. It's gonna get gnarly. My garage was a trash day.
You were
was
probably
this morning.
Sweating pretty hot, boiling that food.
Oh yeah, for sure. But even like keeping the garbage.
Oh, the raccoons must have had a fun night.
Oh, yeah, brother. Shooting off fireworks. My neighbor, he's the president of the HOA. And he popped his head out and he yells, "I'm telling the president of the HOA!" Yeah. And then he came out with his own fireworks.
Good man.
It was great.
That's what you want in an HOA boss.
I know. I guarantee there's like at least one or two neighbors who were probably extremely irritated.
Yeah.
But most of them came out to look.
Kamala voters. Yeah. They'll be irritated no matter what happens. So how many people have been miserable the last couple of days? And if you can't celebrate
as miserable
America,
as I was, they were less happy.
Yeah.
And take joy from that.
And one of the things, again, we love about our side, about each other, about our friendship. We never loved America less when Biden was president. We still celebrated many Fourths together. We wished I never loved America less when Obama was president. I disliked them. I disliked their policies. I was pissed off.
I get worried about the country, though.
I get very worried about the country.
I don't think we're getting to 500.
But if someone said, "Are you proud to be American?" And that's the difference between us and them. The amount of them who were like, "I'm not proud to be American until I can't celebrate this country with this man." And you don't.
Well, Michelle was never proud to be an American until her husband was the presidential nominee. That was the first time.
How tragic is that? And people, yay, brilliant statement.
What a deep and brave statement.
Awful.
Yeah.
I will love this country no matter who's president, because the president is not the country. The country is so much greater than all of us, and it was awesome to celebrate.
And what people should do for America 250. DC is really fun, but my first thought when I came here in 2004, a long time ago now, was DC is a place where we build monuments to the accomplishments of what other Americans did in other places, whether it's in Europe or in Japan.
That's well said.
And it seems like it's beautiful and it's well done. And the Arlington Cemetery is an incredible visit. Old Town Alexandria is it's 270 something years old. Really cool stuff to visit. But if you want to get a feel for America, it's not going to be at the state fair. It's not going to be from your government. It's not going to be it's going to be from driving. And I used to hate driving because I lived in the 95 corridor. I would always be driving on 95. 95 sucks. It's a brutal way to experience this country. You don't see anything. But driving across the country, seeing literal cowboys still exists, doing cowboy stuff, right? Branding cattle and bringing them in, stopping at these little places where you can just pull up, sit down, get a beer. People are friendly, nice, seeing the little history, going to, like you were just at, where Custer's Last Stand, going to see Crazy Horse, going to see Mount Rushmore. And these places that are just, you're looking around at this kind of barren, badlands, and you're thinking, man, a lot of hell went down here one day.
Yeah.
In traveling through California, driving the coastal Pacific Highway, driving through Tahoe and Texas. Texas is a lot of driving. If you're feeling down about this country or down about the city you're living in or wherever, that will reinvigorate you entirely. And you don't have that in Europe. If you leave London, you find actual England, but it's sad. It's depressed. There's not a lot of spirit left, and the spirit that is left is expressed through like the guy in his lazy boy with his British flag shirt yelling at the TV. You go to America, you see a country that still is completely and totally alive. The people are energized. We're the kind of people who do not accept a BS red card.
No.
We will not just sit there and be like, those are the rules. Like, that is wrong.
Yeah. Well,
and that still is here. That's good.
And we're in America 251 now, right? And now, like, this was great to celebrate, but now we've got a lot of work to do. And the work is visiting the country. The work is getting out to vote. The work is running for office. The latest piece I wrote was all about I did a radio show in Houston where I was asked, what do you think the founders would be disappointed in, if anything? And that's a tough question, but I said the only thing I think they'd be really disappointed in is our apathy, because they got off their butts and did stuff, and they knew it was going to be miserable, and they knew sending their 10-year-olds to battle. The only thing? I wanted to limit it just to one thing.
They were like, "Sir, take me to the nearest Anglican church."
I wanted to limit it to one thing. Yeah,
that's a gay homeless shelter.
There's lots of
so
things,
weird.
But the apathy of like, you have to get up and do stuff.
Take me to a priestess.
We have races where every single person who's running is a crazy Venezuelan-born, Muslim-trained socialist with some Star Wars name running for office. And then the Republican side, no one even volunteered. I give the left a lot of credit. They are putting in the work. And then you're like, I went to the school board, and the school is all a bunch of crazy homosexuals, and they're talking about Trans Day awareness. What's going on? It's like, you know why? Because they ran for all the school board positions. And where were we? So America 251 is what's kicking off. We'll talk about this more because we should wrap up. America 251 is you got to get out. You got to go out and see America, and you got to go out and fight for America. And as miserable as it sounds, you got to run for some offices.
Last question.
Yeah.
Now that the USA is out, which ethnic nationality are you rooting for in the World Cup?
England.
I went for England too. Yeah. It's once every 4 years. It allows me to feed into my blood memories.
Yeah.
Sarah's watching the Viking guy, and she's like, I kind of might go for Norway. And it's you're probably one of the invaders with the blonde.
She looks like a Viking.
Yeah, blonde. She's English, fully English and French, but she's the French that came to England were Vikings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's an invader. I'm like a Saxon mudbug.
Yeah. No, you're from the House of Bedford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we lost to William the Conqueror.
Oh.
That's the long tail of Bedfords from Bedford to this. Good show.
To putting on a podcast. Thanks, folks. This was fun. Always a good time.